Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today, we've got a pretty easy project. We're going to be replacing the front brake pads on our 2008 Yamaha Raider. Not that tough to do. Just need to drop down those calipers, push those pistons back in, and then pop in the pads. So if you're ready, I'll walk you through it. All right guys, as predicted, I've decided to go back with the OEM style pads. And the question is, when do you need to replace them? Well, according to Yamaha, they can come all the way down to the end of that channel. And that gives you about 0.5 millimeter. I don't particularly agree with that because when you wear down a pad, it loses its ability to dissipate heat. So when it gets worn down that far, it's really not going to perform as well as it should. My rule of thumb, you get down to about 2 millimeters, it's time to go ahead and do something. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and get our retaining clips off of that pin. And now do yourself a favor before you take off the caliper and go ahead and knock that pin through. And we will be cleaning that up before we put it back together. Now, with the spring out of the way, you've got a clear shot to see what the brake pads look like. Now at this point, with the pin out, yes, you can grab these pads and then rip them straight out. But the trick is, the pistons are still in, and it can be a little bit tricky / aggravating to get all 4 of them to go back out. So let me show you how I deal with that. Actually, I go ahead and remove the whole caliper. It's only 2 bolts, so not quite the end of the world there. Now what we're going to do is take a screwdriver, since we're replacing these anyway, put it in the middle, turn it, and that'll push all of the pistons back in equally. There we go. Now at this point, you can honestly just go ahead and remount the caliper, and then we'll pop the pads in. Now could you pry against your disc and get them to go back in? Yes, but I wouldn't want to torture that with a screwdriver. So this is the safer way to do it. One note here, there's an arrow on the spring that indicates which direction this needs to go. So that curved section is actually facing toward the top side versus like this. So that's the way we want to go in. Now if your spring is looking rough, I suggest you go ahead and replace it. There we go. Now your pin, no grease on this, but you do need to make sure that the holes are going front to back so you can get your clips back in. Then just need to replace our clips. There we go. Last thing we need to do is retorque these 2 bolts back to 29 foot-pounds. That's it. So guys, we're halfway done. The other side is the exact same procedure. So what I'm going to show you next is something you should do every single time you change out your brake pads, and that's to go ahead and bleed the calipers. So we're going to do that now. Let's go ahead and pull our reservoir cover. Now this Allen size is a 2.5. Make sure that we have enough fluid in there. But looking at this fluid, it is old. I mean, it should not look like Coca-Cola. It should be a kind of tannish color, and it's got water in it. But I'm going to go and show you how to bleed this, but if your fluid looks like this, yeah, you need to go ahead and flush it out. And best way to do that is use a vacuum system. But today we're just going to do a quick bleed. So let's remove our cap, get our 8 millimeter wrench on it, and get our hose put over the end of the bleed valve. Oh yeah, that's just looking rancid. Pump it up, release, close, pump it up, release, close. Well, you get the idea, guys. You want to pump it up, release, and the level that you're actually looking at where it should be, it was actually overfilled when we started, is you want it, you know, just to the edge of that sight glass, and that's where we are right now. But keep in mind that's with a new pair of brake pads, so that would mean the piston calipers are pushed all the way back into their cylinders. You know, it's the same procedure for the other side as far as bleeding. Then you just need to top it back up and then reinstall the cover. Well, all right, pretty simple procedure, and you saved yourself a bunch of money versus going to the dealership. Well, listen, if you need these parts or any other parts for your machine, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. And hey, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you can keep up with whatever I'm working on next. We just want to say thank you for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and we will see you in the next video. Y'all have a great day.